It looks like we are live with Metroid Fusion 100% Blindfolded by Bubzia. Now, this is going to be really exciting. Can't wait to see it. So, guys, take it away. Good luck.
Alright, thank you very much. Yeah, my name is Bubzia, and I'm here with my commentator Hercules Benchpress, a pretty good friend of mine from the Metroid Fusion community. And we'll play this game today with all collectibles, that means 100%, but with the blindfold on. This is my blindfold here, if you can see. It's completely black. And yeah, I have specialized kind of in blindfolded speedruns since around 3 years. So this is the kind of thing I do. And I hope I can showcase you guys something very interesting to watch. And this is my second blindfold. It's just cute, that's why I have it. It's the cat. Yeah. So I'll do like the double blindfold setup. And then I would be personally good to go. And we could start the run. Are you ready, Herc?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Alright. I guess then I will... Oh yeah, I will hear nothing from the commentator or the donation reader. I will mute myself completely for the run, so I can focus on the game. Just in case anyone is thinking I get like the hints and everything from the commentator, but I will be completely on mute. So if anything happens, I won't be able to hear. And I will mute myself right now, so thank you very much, Herc, for commentating, and I will leave it to you now.
Alright. Excellent. This is going to be quite the interesting run that we're going to see here.
I can't hear anything now. I'm sorry if I talk like into you, but I will start the timer in 10 seconds. I'll count down with my fingers.
Just
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, start.
Alright. So we're underway here with Metroid Fusion. This is going to be interesting because I'm sure if you've seen a run of this game, you know, usually the person that's running the game isn't blindfolded. But this creative way of going through the game, be using a few tricks here to try to position himself to get through his rooms, and one of these techniques he's going to use is going to be echolocation, which is going to be he's going to fire a shot and he'll wait to see if he can hear the shot hit the wall, so he can determine how far away from the wall he is. He'll use the missiles, the charge, or the beam. Another thing that he's going to try to do is using the footsteps that Samus makes to try and pace out where he's going to be in any given room. Having memorized all of these rooms, he's going to at least attempt to, he's going to want to hear like some ledges that he's grabbing, or, certain enemies that are going to be around the room. Even when he came to the community saying that he was going to run this game blindfolded, I think I was one of the first people to just kind of be like, yeah, okay, believe that when I say it. Because this game it's very intricate with its movement, and especially its boss fights. Be able to even do without even looking at the game is a feat in and of itself. But especially in the very early goings, he's going to be using, and you're going to see him doing some very interesting ways of setting things up, because he's trying to normalize movement at the rooms. So he will like run himself up against the wall, and to make sure he's okay, he's against the wall like right here. He's going to reset up just so he can make sure he can grab that ledge so he doesn't get lost. And he'll be resetting rooms occasionally as well, just to reset them, just to get his bearings back. Excuse me. This is going to be rather interesting. Like, he the zombie up there because he doesn't know whether or not it's going to be on the left or the right side, and it's actively moving. There are going to be a couple points in the game where he's have a bit of difficulty, especially with some audio cues, because game, for being a GBA game, it only has so many like sounds that it can play at one time. So there are some instances where the sounds will just get eaten, and you won't be able to. It'll just be kind of faded. Something will happen on screen, and you just won't hear the sound effect for it. It's to prevent too many sounds from playing at once. We've learned that with this game, if too many sounds play at one particular time, the game will just lock. And we don't want obviously you don't want that happening. His first upgrade he's going to be getting here is missiles. He's given 10 right off the bat, and going to be collecting a lot of missile expansions in this game. The way 100% works in Metroid Fusion is that it doesn't count major items, it only counts the expansions. There's 100 item expansions, energy expansions, missile, and power bomb expansions that he's going to be grabbing throughout the run. And if you've seen a 100% run, again, it's going to be slightly different. It's going to be grabbing some items early. This is to prevent needing to go back and like having to go completely out of his way to get to an item. And it'll just be easier for him to grab it while he's there, as opposed to having to come all the way back to some specific location. He's got his first missile expansion here. He's going to run to the left and get his second one, is in this little block. Hopefully that one's not too bad to kind of set up. This room, though, is the biggest reset point of the entire run, and actually going to go up and save, because for two reasons. You've got the zombies that are walking left and right. He's only got 99 energy, and they do quite a bit of damage if, just standing there getting hit, or he could get knocked into the eye door. But the reason is the Ghidorah or the eye door, which a lot of people who've played this game might remember. These will shoot a random number of missiles each time. Oh. Ooh. And this is why he saved. This is incredibly dangerous, and probably the biggest reset point of this entire Blindfolded run. Because after this, he'll have plenty of energy to kind of take a hit and move on, but his eye doors can be especially tricky, and he probably thinks that he's on the very where he is now. These eye doors, they can fire anywhere between 0 to 4 beams before they become vulnerable and open up. 0 is the absolute best, very rare. 4 is, it's very much likely that, very much likely. It's more likely that he will see 1 to 3 than he will, like, for each open, than he will 0 to 4. 0 or 4. Again, he grabbed the ledge there so he could, position himself properly to get this E-Tank. So far, everything's going really well. For this, it's going to get a little tricky in a little bit, but now we've got our first boss, which is Arachnus. Arachnus takes 15 missiles to kill, and usually, especially for a 100% run, this is technically going to be considered the hardest fight in the game. However, well, maybe not in this case for a 100%. So you're probably used to seeing other Fusion runners do what we call doubles as well on the core X's, and that's not at all going to be prevalent in this. Where he's just going to be running kind of back and forth and spinning around and firing a missile to deal damage. Core X. The Arachnus down, we get Morph Ball, which will allow us to go through 1x1 tunnels, 1 block high tunnels, as you're seeing right now. Again, it's more standardized movement, just to kind of, get his bearings. For now, if you've got any donations you'd like to read, furry. This is probably a good time for him for a little bit.
Well, I don't have any donations, but I know something that's going to get people to donate and push us over the edge of $1,000 for Save the Children. And that is some donation incentives that we have in store for you. Coming up near in a few hours is Skylar and Pluck's Adventure on Clover Island. And you can choose the player model for that. Currently in the lead, we have Sonic with $38.11. And the default model and Samus Aran have yet to score. So if you want to push one of these up to match with Sonic, or even boost Sonic, then get those donations in. We also have, and let me scroll down to see it, because I'm sure certain people would be really excited by this, is the Sanix the Hedgehog bonus run, which is going to be done later in the event. Currently, that is standing at, hang on, $35.73 out of 100. So the gap is very small and is easily fillable. So get those donations in for an incredible bonus run. And with that, it's back to you, Herc.
Cool. We successfully navigated to the first elevator in the game, and got the spooky, scary cutscene with the SAX that scared many children that this game has been out. But he's going to be going to Sector 1. He's going to be going to 6 different areas, and he'll be doing revisits and everything else. Really, one of the harder things to be able to do is going to be locating these elevators, because there's really no I'm not going to say there's no setup for him, but there's no way of knowing exactly where the elevator is. There's no like audio cue that you can do. There's nothing you can run into. Just kind of have to, feel around for it, like you saw Bubzia doing there. Sector 1 is going to be it's going to be pretty interesting, because Sector 1, the whole point of Sector 1 is he's going to go back and save, it looks like. Very good. Sector 1, he's going to have to destroy 5 stabilizers. Interesting thing about these stabilizers is that they kind of move up and down and oscillate a little bit with their movement patterns. So he's going to have to not only get into a position where he can fire missiles, but be able to know that his missiles are hitting, and he'll hear a tink sound if a missile doesn't hit. And there are some very standard locations, like this little ledge right here. And he runs himself against the wall there, so that way he can jump to the left and guarantee that he's going to land on there. Sector 1 is very important for missile management as well. It's really important to have good health and missile management. The way this game works, its drop system, is that you're missing both health and missiles. You have a 4 out of 5 chance that a drop will be a health drop or a yellow X. And of course, that's a 1 in 5 that it'll be missiles. If you're at full missiles, every drop is going to be a guarantee health drop, and if you're at full health, every drop is going to guarantee that you get missiles for a refill. Having full health is going to be very important in this sector. However, needing to echolocate and with some enemies that are around that will hit them, at their positions could be slightly random. It's not going to allow him to be able to get allow him to stay at full health entire time. So he's going to want to do some farming, and especially at the end of all this, when he has to get to an eye door, the amount of missiles that are remaining is going to be slightly difficult, especially if he's missing a missile or 2. Like, he needs 3 minimum. Him having a lot more is preferable. It's in case. So, because of that, he's going to grab this missile slightly early. Missile is usually the first item that you would get during cleanup, Sector 1, because it's right after Ridley. And it's the closest one to start with. But to grab it now, just because it would be a little bit of a pain to have to get that later. Especially for this room as well, the pirate climb. saw him fall down the other side. Usually you would fire missiles straight down for that, and this one you would just usually climb the same wall. Right now what he's trying to do is when he's firing these missiles, he's trying to listen for a tink sound, which will indicate that he's hit a space pirate and has dealt no damage. So once he is able to locate that, he fired a missile so he could kill it, and he can continue climbing up the room unimpeded. And went really well, and he's got pretty good right now missiles, thankfully. So this should be able to. I guess if he doesn't have enough, but should be good to go.
Wow.
Do we have a moment for a few big donations that have just come in?
Absolutely.
Alright, we have $20 from Falcon Bandwagon saying, I'm proud to say I've never played a single Metroid series, and that donation goes to Runner's Choice. We can't really contact her right now because they're focusing, but I'll ask them after the run and we can get that arranged. But the more important news here is we have $159 from Ananace saying, let's get that first K, and indeed, that donation pushed us to our very first $1,000, which is
awesome.
Really amazing. So thank you all for your donations, and keep them coming for such an incredible cause.
It's fantastic. It's good. So in those donations, a very quick fight happened for the charge beam. So most of the beam upgrades that Bubzia is going to be getting are going to be with a Core X. Well, all the upgrades are going to be quote-unquote Core X's. But the I Core X's, like the one he just fought, her hitboxes are very small, only the size of that eye, and so he's going to have to fire missiles whenever those eyes expose themselves. The charge beam, though, is probably one of the most broken items in this game. Full charge, it deals 10 damage per portion of the beam. The charge beam upgrades the pea shooter from a one shot to having 2 parts to the beam. So if he hits both parts, it's going to deal 20 damage at full charge. In addition to that, there's also a flare that happens along when he releases a charge beam shot. That also deals an additional 6 damage if that's to hit an enemy. So there, in some instances throughout a run, normally the charge beam is going to be very useful for moving through rooms quickly or defeating bosses, very, very quickly. In this run, because he won't be able to kind of read and react to certain bosses, it's gonna be he probably won't be using the charge beam as much as you would normally see during a run like this. But so far everything's going pretty well. Successfully got through Sector 1 as if it was nothing, which is really cool. Because even though I've seen this run a few times, I cannot believe that this is possible. So after Sector 1, we've got Sector 2, and Sector 2 is really where I guess some of the difficulty kind of ramps up. It's the first point where you've got enemies that deal a lot of damage that they have no right doing, and enemies in this game deal a lot of damage. So these little red enemies called Zoros are going to be dealing 45 damage, which is like half an E-tank, and they're an early game enemy, which it doesn't make sense, but what they turn into later will make even less sense, because they'll just deal even more damage. So, getting through this, this portion, or this sector, really, it's going to be fairly interesting because he doesn't want to take too many hits because the hits can add up. But at the same time, he doesn't know where they're gonna be, and the way the Zoros move is that they wheel along the walls, the floor, and the ceiling, and they'll move in one of two directions. So it's pretty hard to kind of standardize where they're gonna be. I mean, they've got limitations on how where they can move. They won't move on diagonals. They only move on flat surfaces. Again, here he's just using the charge beam to kind of. Oh, he did not shoot the. There he goes. They can't go on the ramp, so they're always going to be on this flat surface.
Oh god.
Alright. So, the other thing, too, is that, like, a lot of this movement is standardized, if you get hit by an enemy, it'll knock you back, and if it like knocks you off a ledge, it's very, very easy to get lost with where you are. So, very good. Sora there. And alright. Like, trying to grab some ledges, and he's trying to like hear for some enemies, because he knows where, because enemies are supposed to be in a certain place. A lot of this game is based on muscle memory to begin with, and usually the muscle memory goes along with a visual. Having to develop muscle memory for not being able to see what's on the screen it's interesting. And now coming up, he's really interesting way that he's wow. Interesting. So coming up here, he's going to be getting the bombs. Bomb upgrade. And he'll be getting a few more items. Getting these items. They're going to be... They're not the easiest ones to kind of track down. They require a little bit of extra movement here. Not this missile back coming up, but one of the other ones in a little bit. This one is just, lay 3 bombs, pick up the missile, and he'll be on his way. And next, the next item is going to be, he's going to have to shoot a wall. It's like the middle of the wall, halfway up it, as well as, lay a bomb in a very specific place to trigger a propeller to come up so he can fire the item. What he's going to do here is he's going to wall jump. And by him wall jumping in that specific phase, the height he's going to be at when he fires that charge beam should be enough to where it destroys both blocks, allows him to, run in and use that stopper block to kind of standardize his position. You see there, as soon as he laid the bomb, and then he did a very short hop and pressed A again to kind of spin in midair, to kind of move himself forward just a little bit. I'm realizing very quickly, commentating something that's, where they can't see is very vastly different than, doing it where the runner can see, which is what I'm used to. But a lot of the tricks will kind of stay the same for the most part. So for like grabbing ladders and stuff like that, or I don't think he's going to be doing too many R shots, but he'll be moving through, and if he does, I'll explain exactly what those are, but moment it's gonna need to complicate things. So instead of falling down, which would be normally what you would do, he's going to so he can find the blue Zoro. This blue Zoro does a lot of damage. and takes a lot of missiles to kill, as you can see. Red X became a Tuskegee. Alright. Normally for this missile you would kind of lay 2 bombs and you would try to beat the bomb block from reforming. However, for safety, so he doesn't get hit by that Zoro a few times and, you know, killed by it. There you go. I don't know why that killer didn't pop when he laid the bomb there. Definitely should have.
Do we have a moment for a couple announcements here?
Again. Right, so what's coming up is Zazabi. Zazabi is complete RNG. And the way Zazabi works is that before he opens to become vulnerable, he does hops around the room. And the amount of hops that he does around the room is the random part. The jumps that he wastes are completely random. So he can, in the first phase, he'll jump 0 to 3 times. In the second phase, he'll jump 1 to 4, and in the third phase, he'll jump 2 to 5. And something else that you maybe picked up on there, you might have noticed that first couple eye doors they took 3 missiles each to open up. Charge beam with its additional with its additional damage that's being dealt, it only takes 2 shots to make the eye door open. That's actually slightly interesting. He got 0 jumps from Zazabi here, the first one, so he was able to kind of recognize that and have a jump that was standardized to jump all the way to the left to be right under it. The other interesting thing about Zazabi here that kind of makes this work without being able to see is that if you're like right on top of Zazabi, you can kind of notice how it's just jumping up and down. It's because it's trying to jump at you still. If you're just standing in between it, like it'll just try to jump left and right to try to get to you, but like failing inevitably. Ow. I was really lucky. But because it's trying to just get at you, it'll just keep jumping in the same spot. And that second that last phase right there, where it just kind of slinking along the ground before jumping up and becoming vulnerable, honestly, probably one of the harder pieces to be able to kind of standardize, because it could be anywhere in the room, and you just kind of have to hope that you're close by and you by chance run under it and fire a missile and everything up into it. If not, then it's a bit problematic, to say the least, and that fight can go on for quite a long time. Hopefully it did not. He got high jump. Now he can jump a little bit higher. He has a spring ball added to the morph ball. Now, he's saved here for a very specific reason.
I might die here.
Oh,
I'm not supposed to get hit. I want to do a psych skip.
Yeah, so as you heard him mention, he wants to do sack skip, and this the SAX skip here is pretty standard as well.
Okay, we're good.
So he got it. Amazing. 4 E-tanks, that's usually the strat that you would see done in a 100% run normally. As you have the 4 E-tanks, if you run and if you do it without that kind of waiting period that he had, could just as easily run at the SAX and freeze, and when it fires a missile, it'll damage boost you through the SAX's hitbox. It will push you to the other side, in which case the SAX will just continue to look the other way if done correctly, or proceed to fire shots at you. Ideally, you don't want to see any shots, or you want the SX to turn around after it's hit you with a super missile. And he got the perfect pattern for that one. I believe touching the SAX deals, I want to say like 200 or 300 or like a large amount of damage. Let's just say that, where he would have ended up getting killed by running into the SAX. He'll take a recharge here just to kind of put him at full, so he doesn't have to worry about getting health drops or getting hit twice by accident by something random and risk dying. But that's probably one of the tougher sectors in terms of damage dealt. Sure, out of the way, which is really, really nice. Upcoming section, though, Bubzia has said that this is the hardest section of the game, hardest sector to do. There's a lot of things that he has to do to be careful. There's going to be electrified water. Boss fight isn't the easiest to kind of standardize because it's random what patterns he gives you. It's going to be... It's dangerous to say the least, but with 4 E-tanks, he should be able to... should be okay. Normally, especially for me, this is probably, like, if I'm not blindfolded, this is, sector where everything, you kind of get a good feel for everything that you have. You get a good feel for movement and, doing a few different things like R shots or whatever the case may be. Just, getting to get comfortable with moving through a sector rather quickly. Without sight, it's become slightly more challenging. Especially with some of the enemy placements. Some of the enemy placements can be rather trolly. He's jumping here with a charge beam charged for one specific reason. You notice that when he jumped through, he kind of jumped through the enemy there. And that's... call that a pseudo screw attack because it's not necessarily a screw attack, but it deals damage way like a screw attack technically would.
Nope. No.
Yeah, it does not want to come this way just yet. In his way. But a pseudo screw attack, because you have a fully charged charge shot, you can kind of jump through an enemy by spin jumping. It will deal damage and looks kind of like a screw attack, without having the screw attack item. So the reason he kind of was like, no, is because there's an item up here that he was trying to get to, and he kind of missed the ledge on that one. Let's see. Alright, very good. 3 tank. He's got a lot of health at this point. It definitely makes things a lot safer with all this extra energy that he has. Boss fights, he could take a few extra hits in both running through the sectors and boss fights. And especially when he was mentioning, like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this. There are a few boss fights where I kind of thought immediately, like, there's no way he's going to be able to do this, right? Like, some of these bosses are incredibly difficult. He positions himself there by grabbing the ledge, jumps twice to kind of make sure he's past the ledge, grabs the ladder, so that way he can climb across. He is... okay. I'm laying a bomb. I didn't know if he was forgetting the item or not, but really he was not. And again... Alright. Good. Avoided that ouch.
Do we have a minute or two for a few announcements here?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we have a few donations. Here we go. $20 from Kopi G saying this blindfolded Metroid run is mind-blowing. Amazing and insane work had to be done for this to be possible. Thank you all for your efforts. Not sure where to put this, so runner's choice. Again, with any runner's choice donations, we'll inform the runner at the end and he's gonna give us his choice then. We also have $5 from Uzi Skull. He's putting that to Save the Grub in Hollow Knight. So thank you all for your donations, and thank you all for the incredible hype train that's been going on these past 10 or so minutes. We've already made it to level 5, so we have 3 more minutes roughly to see how much more support we can get for ESA and all their future events. So keep the cheers and the subs coming so we can get a very nice hype train going. Thank you all for your support, by whatever means you choose to do it.
Greeky, you mentioned subs. I don't know if people know this, but they've got Amazon Prime and they link it to their Twitch account. It gives them access to Twitch Prime.
Yes.
Not only allows them to get awesome in-game rewards almost randomly, like throughout the month, it also gives them the opportunity to sub to any stream every 30 days for the low price of free. Which, in a case like this, is a really good way to be able to support the charity.
That is pretty hype indeed. So yeah, these subs will be going to supporting ESA. Actually, donations will be going 100% to Save the Children. But it's fine. Whatever way people can support the event and the charity, that they're all very much accepted. So keep everything coming, and we thank you all for your support.
So Bubby has just entered the fight, Serris. This boss is nightmare, especially for Blindfold. He has to kind of guess where Serris is based on just sound cues of him coming up out of the water. At the start of the fight, he grabbed the ladder and all the way to the left. By doing so, he set himself up perfectly to be able to hit the first charge shot. Serris has 50 health, so a fully charged charge shot done directly does 26 damage, both parts dealing 10, and then the 6 from the flare. So he's already done up 26. He's got 24 left. So he's gonna stand here. He's gonna hold on to this wall and try and time up a charge shot and a missile to hit Serris before he kind of dives back down, which just missed. Another interesting thing that he's kind of doing here is that he's able to hold on to the ledge by holding left. So if he gets hit, if he maintains holding left, he'll just re-grab the ledge after getting damaged, and he's in the water now. You're going to see him doing this, just kind of running left and right, taking a hit, and then just turning around immediately to deal damage to the Corex. It's a really solid way of knowing exactly where he is. I imagine he's taken a huge sigh of relief because it could go wrong in several different ways.
What?
There it is. Just so close. He was so close so many times. But, this fight, it's not the easiest to time it up to fire those shots. Got a first try. This dude is a madman. Now he's got the speed booster, the going fast item, and he's going to be using it several different times. But first, he's got to kind of pick up these items here. These couple missile items are on the way. The thing that he's going to try to do is try to avoid these ouch. They're kind of just hanging around. At a certain point, he's got full health. He's got no problems just kind of running right through them and making those hits with the amount of health that he has. I mean, they only do like, what, 40 or 50 out? And one more for good measure. Do about 40. So now that he's got the speed booster, he's going to have to get out of here somehow. So he's going to go lower the water. The electrified water. we're going to be seeing him do the same kind of strats that he did just getting here, you know, setting up the movement, 2 jumps, hitting a bomb, and then climbing the ladder. And notice that he didn't grab the ladder immediately. There is a sound effect for the bomb chain. If he hits it, he'll kind of hear like, like, you know, it destroying along the top of the wall there. Because he didn't hear that, knew that he did not set off that bomb chain, so he had to back up and plan another one just to kind of activate it. Now that we got the water lowering, he can finally get out of the sector, but there's a few items he's got to grab here. Missile pack. There's going to be another missile pack that he's going to grab on his way out that you would normally have speed booster activated for, because it goes because it allows, you know, using a shine spark through water, it ignores the effects of water that, you know, would normally slow you down without gravity suit, and would just move at your full speed booster speed, shine spark speed. The way he's going to pull off a shine spark is he's going to get a speed booster and then press down to store it, and then he's able to use that a later point before it runs out. Kind of see him slowing himself down here. He uses the door transition, kind of reset his positioning and where he's at. The way he knows, okay, I'm at the start of this room, I just need to jump up on this ledge, grab this ledge, and run through the water. And he's just going to come back here to the left so he can reactivate the speed boost and get himself out of here. There you go. That enemy, how long it takes for that enemy to spawn is based on how long it takes for the kill the first enemy. If you kill the first enemy, like as soon as you enter the room, it should spawn in almost immediately. Not, it can take a while, like where you saw where it just spins around the enemy spawn point. Another interesting, like, now that we've got the speed booster and we're able to shine spark, this kind of begs the question, like, okay, well, yes, now he has it, but what does that mean? Because this game had, you know, in terms of getting 100%, this game has a lot of items that require, you know, speed booster or tricks with the speed booster. He's got setups for all of the items. A few years ago, I created a 100% tutorial. In that tutorial, I kind of threw and I was talking about, like, okay, you know, this item, the way you would get this item is usually, you know, run along, get the speed booster, and about here is when you want to, like, jump or store it, and, like, using very various images in the background to kind of set a position, kind of have a visual cue. And there are no visual cues in this because there are no visuals. It's kind of interesting to have to see him, like, now he's got this speed booster. What he does is he breaks that block. He'll jump twice here to kind of set his position to get this missile pack. And then he's going to try to, there you go. Going to run back and then get the speed booster again. He's going to need to break some speed booster blocks. Ooh. So, time that it usually takes for the speed booster activate, him storing it, allows him to, a good window to store it almost right after it activates there, so that way he can use the spark, press the left trigger to look diagonally, and so he can shine spark diagonally. This is the first portion of the run where we're gonna be seeing shine sparks used. I believe he counts them as like 11.5 steps, if I recall correctly. There you go. Very easy to get lost in this. And alright, pretty good. This fight coming up, it's actually a really, really cool setup that he's found. To normalize a one cycle. He's gonna hold right through the door transition and count the boss steps.
Wait.
Oh, uh-oh.
I went into the lower hole.
Oh. Oh.
Oh no. I was not supposed to do this, but it's okay, I assume.
He was able to figure out where he was. Cool, we get to see this setup again. So he was able to hold up left there on the ladder. By doing so, just re-grabs the ladder and continues climbing as if nothing happened.
Wait, how do I open the hole now?
See, that's what he means. Oh.
Okay, this should be right.
I see. He's looking to stand there so that way he can grab the ledge. That's why.
Okay.
So being able to grab a ledge really helps out with like knowing exactly where you are. So like, been grabbing that ledge right there. Gives him the opportunity to know exactly where he is. Which is kind of why the kind of confusion. Like, oh no, how do I open this up? How do I get through here? Because usually when he plants the bomb during the item pickup. Which is a thing, because when you pick up an item, things like bombs, power bombs, everything else will continue to go off, activate around you. But you can kind of set things up to go off as you're picking up items and stuff like that. So, being unable to that kind of setup that he normally would while he's getting that, it can throw you off a little bit. As I was saying about this boss, he tries to where he can try to one cycle it. He's gonna hold right through the door transition, count 6 of the boss's steps, and then fire a missile to stun him, and then he's gonna try to shoot another 0 to 2 upwards, and they could or couldn't hit. And then he's just gonna run all the way left, and just jump to the right and get damage boosted a bit. He's in the perfect position on the ladder. Just watch. Damage boost from the fire puts him in the perfect spot, so where he won't get hit here, and he'll also be in the perfect spot to just with missiles. And after he gets knocked off the ladder, it puts him right in the hitbox. He can fire missiles directly at box and hit them all in the hitbox, and just turn around again after he gets hit again to kill him very quickly. Which an amazing setup. What I no idea how long that took him to come up with. I can't imagine the amount of hours that it must have taken to set that up. Here we're just gonna get this E-tank. we're gonna have to come back to this area here and clean up. Usually that's an item you wouldn't see until cleanup, but it's very convenient to get now, and probably more convenient just because of you can grab this item and continue on your way, whereas with needing to get another item that's up there that's a very specific tunnel, it's going to be a little bit more difficult than it would be otherwise during cleanup to go down and get an E-tank and have a 1 block wide tunnel you have to jump back up through, not knowing where you are. It's just easier to grab that on your way down and out the first time through, and then just leave the other item later, just to avoid confusion. So, on his way through Sector 6, it's going to be really kind of simple. Not a whole lot. There's like no enemies there except for the blue X that are going to be able to deal damage. Afterwards, after gets his next upgrade, things are going to get a little bit more dangerous. Usually, for a 100% run, you kind of do things to set things up for later, whatever the case may be. However you want to describe it. He's going to be laying bombs along a wall to open up a bomb block, like a morph ball tunnel, to get an item for when he kind of returns back the first time. So his way to into the sector, he should be laying bombs along a wall. If he hits the wall, he lays them in the proper spot, he'll open up the morph ball tunnel. Could potentially miss. It happens. And then there's another bomb block on the opposite side. I'm unsure whether or not he gets that now. I think he might get it early before on his first visit as opposed to his second visit. A good jump. Alright, so here he goes. He's laying the bomb along the wall. Actually getting the item now. Okay. Usually you get that on the way out, but getting that now, I guess, is easier to deal with. I think he's going to get this E-tank now as well, which makes sense.
It's the wrong one.
It is pretty easy to get lost in here.
Do we have a moment for a donation or two?
Absolutely.
Okay. We have $5 from Anonymous with no comment, and $50 from AddyAddy11 saying, "This run is insane. Whereas Blindfolded is absolutely amazing. Keep up the great run. Also runner's choice." So now we have $90 of donations pent up, which could easily fill up any donation incentive. Again, if you want to put it to the runner's choice, then we can probably have him at the end choose one, and we'll donate. We'll devote everything in there for that. So yeah, keep those donations coming.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. Kind of ran through that Wex there just because, knowing he's going to take damage, it allows him to standardize where he's gonna grab the ladder, so that way he can, know that he just has to fire to the left and then wall kick off of the ladder there to be put in the right position. And usually there's a bit of a skip that was up here, but it's they do it with a blindfold. You need to know when the SAX takes a step, and when does SAX take a step really? Let's just watch. Absolute madman. Running past Sax. Doing a half skip. very smart to take a safety save here because this next boss is difficult, to say the least. Very difficult. Now he's just gotta find the block. Right? These slugs can be problematic because they move so quickly. It's easy to just kind of lose where they are, especially because they can fall off the ceiling if you just shoot them off. No trouble navigating them though, it's fantastic to see. This next boss, Mega X. The only way to damage Mega X here is with Charge Beam. Normally you'll see a lot of runners, by the way we have super missiles, they deal 30 damage, so idoors are no longer a problem. Normally you're gonna see, runners jumping up into them. What Bubzia is gonna do is he's gonna let himself get hit by the Core X and then fire. Doing this, it allows him to know that the Core X is right there on top of him, so he can just kind of hit the Core X whenever and take some blind shots as well. Just gonna... oh, there you go. So the only method of attack for the Core X is that just charges at Samus. It's got little mini Core X's, floating around to deal additional damage. He's just waiting for it to kind of get hit and maybe firing a few extra shots. You gotta... and he killed it. Nice. Yeah, that's... usually it can take 4 hits if hit it with the Charge Beam 4 times. Yeah, he's just gonna run back and forth, waiting until... I count now 3 seconds. The invulnerability period for the Core X lasts 3 seconds. It's very easy to kind of, go, okay, 1, 2, 3, and then know that I should probably turn around and fire a missile. It should be right behind me since it's trailing after me. Good, very good. He's got the various suit now. I have to get a few items here on his way out. Cleanup purposes. 2 missiles directly above where he is now. One that's situated on top of some crumble blocks, the other in a morph ball tunnel. But, should have no problem. There are those. Just gonna hold left to grab that ledge. Himself up. By standing in that corner, it allows him to fire a shot directly up and to the right, where it'll hit the block where the missile is hiding. Reveal it. They're one of those very slick methods of standardizing how to get an item and how to reveal an item. Now you notice that you can see that there's enemies all around the sector now. So leaving Sector 6 is a lot more dangerous than entering Sector 6. He's gonna have to avoid a lot of enemies on his way out. See him kind of some wall jumping up here and some at a very specific position, allow him to kind of just come right through and know that it's gonna be a very specific spot. Firing missiles as well, just to kind of potentially hit something. Oh, saw him fire a charge beam, a fully charged shot there while he was hanging on the ledge. The way he's able to do that is, in this game, when you have a fully charged charge beam, you press the R button to activate missiles. You fire a charge shot. So, oh my god. When you activate missiles, if you have the fully charged charge beam, it'll just fire the beam straight forward. You can use that while on ladders, on ledges, much anywhere that you are. If you want to fire a beam while you're spin jumping, so that you don't unspin. And there's that's how you would do it. The fastest method of getting through each room is by running. Jumping is 50. You lose half of your horizontal speed when you jump. So he's trying to maximize his time on the ground to a certain extent when trying to move through rooms, but it's not necessarily the most important factor in a run like this.
We have a couple minutes for something really exciting. I want to give our view.
Get away for it.
Okay, so I just wanted to talk about one of our sponsors for this event, Wavy the Rocket. And you might see Moobot talking about it a little bit there. On the Humble Store, Wavy the Rocket is 25% off right now, and it will be for the duration of ESA Corona Relief. There is an exciting little thing you can do while watching our event. If you play through the Wavy Dash race category and your speedrun is under 1 hour, then Wavy the Rocket will themselves donate $10 to save the children. For every 20 successful attempts that are like that, an additional $50 will be donated. So, you can get Wavy the Rocket, play through that race, and if you get a time of under 1 hour, money will be donated for charity. So, what's not to love? New game, new speedrun, exciting stuff. So, by all means, give that a try, why don't you?
Sorry. Sector probably one of the kind of dear sectors to kind of deal with without seeing. It's not the most dangerous sector. Definitely a little bit more dangerous than Sector 6 coming in, but not by much. Actually going to be grabbing a lot of the items that would be normally left for cleanup to get now instead, just so he doesn't have to kind of backtrack, or actually it wouldn't be getting, sorry, not cleanup, but normally like a second visit kind of thing, where he would get on the second pass through. Trying to look for a something on the floor. There he goes. I believe he's going to be grabbing a couple additional missiles on the first pass through as opposed to the second. Of course, some items he might leave just because it's easier to get with space jump than it would be to say wall jump up and down, like up and down, completely up a vertical shaft to get an item or two, or whatever the case may be. Where space jump will just make it easier, but moment we've just unlocked level 3 doors. He's going to go and he's going to go get ice missiles. Sorry, so slightly early for me. All right. Here we go. Something that he's not really going to take too much of an advantage of, probably. He kind of took slight advantage of it there. If you go through a door transition and you have a fully charged, you have a shot charged up, if you release that or you press R through the door transition, it'll fire it on the very first frame. You kind of saw something like that with the door there, where he kind of turned the He was able to fire almost immediately. So, the reason he fired all those missiles there, and extra beam shots, using some echolocation there to try to be able to figure out where that Ripper is, if it was kind of close by or no. Normally, I think that might be a newer strat that he's using, because I know that before he was just firing a missile straight at it and having to gauge where the distance is, determine whether or not that it would work. But it looks like he's discovered a way to standardize that process of making sure that you get it like every single time, firing it at that, or by freezing it at that specific location.
Oh, I didn't shoot at all. Let's
Well,
visit the room.
I'm confused. Alright.
No.
I think it probably just was one of those cases where he just wasn't 100% on his movement and second guessed it, maybe. At this point, though, he really isn't in too much danger of dying, because he's got 9 E-tanks, and there's not really going to be anything for a while that deals, that much damage. Right, so coming up, got emergency in Sector 3. Usually, though, we have the chat spam emergency and Franker Z at the entirety of this emergency section, so whenever the screen is flashing red, or as long as the timer is going. But feel free to spam Franker Z in chat, because we've just entered emergency in Franker Z. So. Luckily, due to the viewer benefit, a little bit longer to spam it than you normally would during a run. Ooh, going saveless as well. Pretty bold. Bold strategy. I would say that this emergency section is probably one of the... I guess I would say the more technical portions of the run. Just because it requires, so much movement tech that you just start building up the beginning portions of the run, and you got to put it together for this. You've got R shooting on ladders and
hello
using enemies. Uh-oh. Right. Yeah, you've got R shooting on ladders, freezing some enemies, using ice missiles. There's a lot of creative ways to get through these rooms here. Oh, again, he's gonna start in Sector 3 and do what he did the first time. Except now he's going to go down instead of upwards in this vertical shaft that's coming up. Because he's got all this extra health, it's safer for him to just kind of run in the lava there and, normalize where his position is for this last one, because he's not able to kind of do what he did in that last lava pit for this one. He needs to have a set position.
Oh, come on.
To be able to... He needs to have a set position so that way he can know that he's grabbing the ladder. Alright, he just wants to take out that Nova just because it's safer to do so. Stretchies, I believe, in normal mode do 90-ish I think something like that. It's like 80, 90. Do quite a lot. Sorry, no, they don't do that much. I'm thinking of hard mode. That's my apologies. They deal like 60, I think. Normal. Just trying to clear out enemies out of his way, just to allow himself safe passage through here. To be as unimpeded as possible. This guy, does he control quite a bit? Alright. Oh. Crumble blocks got him. Okay, so coming up though, we've got another beam upgrade, and he'll be unlocking the wide beam, the onion ring beam. Go. Okay. Instead of only having 2 parts of the beam, now he'll have 3. And each portion of the beam, at fully charged, should be dealing 15. Remembering correctly, should be dealing 45 total with all of them hitting. Again, another strategy he's used, he's just gonna run to the right wall, around, fire, run to the left wall, fire, turn around. He's gonna do this 4 times. And he's got the wide beam. Alright. Now that emergency is over, has to get out of here. It's doing everything that he just did, but backwards. Having the wide beam, it actually kind of... It does what its name suggests that it does, is that it fires a beam in a very wide pattern. And this actually gives him a lot of extra leeway with bringing out enemies and trying to kind of find his way around just to kind of see where things are. Got some time until he goes to save the animals. If got any extra donations you want to read?
Well, so far we don't have anything of the sort, but I can talk a little bit about some donation incentives we have coming up. So just give me a second, let me pull.
Absolutely.
Currently, we have for Fate of the Grub in Hollow Knight, we have $10 to save the grub, $0 to kill it. So it's still neck and neck, almost, but keep those donations in coming for that donation incentive. We then also have further down, for example, let's say in Yakuza 6, the Joe Amon fight and the Rugby Baby incentives, both of which are standing at $5 out of 50. So $45 each to fulfill both of them. So that would be pretty exciting if we could meet both of these incentives. And finally, a personal bias of mine, near the end of the event, I've already mentioned it, but it's the Sanix, the Edgehog incentive. It's currently standing at $35.73. So that's going to be really exciting when that is met. It's just $65 away, so keep those donations coming. I want to see my Sanix. I don't know about you, Hercules, but this is one I have my eye out on. So
Sanic the Hedgehog sounds like an amazing incentive, to be completely honest. I would love to be able to watch that.
Yeah, and it just needs $65 to be met, so yeah, get those donations in for an incredible, incredible cause.
So, there's not really a whole lot going into this next portion here. It's just going to be some simple say simple, but going to be some platforming that he's going to be doing to get up to save the animals. And it's you watch him go, and you kind of like, well, how does he know that the ladder's there? He's actually doing a lot of counting in his head. So every time Samus takes a step, you get a sound a sound for each footfall. He's actually counting the footfalls a lot for big open spaces like that, where there's not a whole lot of obstacles in the way. There's no ledges to grab. It's just a flat room, kind of like this one. Just trying to count the amount of steps to try to standardize distance per step. For something, like the impossible climb, which you won't be going for because it's impossible, at least the first portion of it done. So he freezes both of those enemies, so that way the second one doesn't troll him and hit him as he's trying to jump across there. Fire a little shot to kind of hit him. These animals are complete RNG as well. Whether or not you get good animals is completely dependent on random luck. Gonna freeze these guys and he'll jump his way up. See, what kind of animals does Bubzia get? 1, 2, there's one to the right though. This is about standard. Terrible either. The worst you could possibly get though is like the door opens and a Etikun? I think it's an Etikun. You just run right past the door as it opens. Even though it's completely wide open, they will just run right past an open door all the way to the right, and you won't see him for another, 5 to 10 seconds. It is some of the most frustrating thing.
Fun fact, I lost complete runs to not finding elevators.
Here you go. He's struggling to find these elevators a slight bit, and I don't blame him because there's not a whole lot of cue that he can be given with somebody who can't see. And now that he's got the animals free, completely necessary for the gameplay, by the way, not at all. Back to Super Metroid. It just happened to be there. I don't know what you're talking about. There is no implication there whatsoever. They're just random animals that are on the ship. Callbacks needed. He's gonna go back down and get power bombs now. It's gonna be one of the items that I want to say that with having power bombs, especially for something like this, is beneficial. But I also I've attempted to do some blindfolded of this. It did not go well. It didn't go as well as
Jesus.
Although I say that now, we're kind of watching Samus just kind of dance her way to the elevator, doing like a Texas two-step to the elevator or something. My blindfolded attempts have never gone quite as well as this. They've all kind of crashed and burned horribly. This is quite insane. I can only imagine with having power bombs though, is that oh yes, it can clear things out. It might make things a little difficult sometimes, maybe. It's like if you destroy something, or you feel like it's more easily able to get lost. It's slightly early for me. Does he get? Okay, he's gonna get those later. Again, this is another really, well, he says easy portion. which, no. Right. I'll take his word for it. In essence, you're just going and getting the power bombs. You're leaving. Then the hard stuff comes, and the challenge begins. So right now, I'd kind of liken this to like the calm before the storm. He should be getting the missiles to the right, I believe. Oh, okay. He's gonna leave those missiles during cleanup. There's an item you normally get that requires freezing a Ripper. He's gonna get that during cleanup when he has space jump, and now he's got the SAX skip. Like Mario for some reason. Very interesting. He's gonna freeze SAX and continue on. Ooh. Alright, blind man. I see you. Can't see me, but I see you. That was impressive. And I guess he's gonna get those as well during cleanup. So you also normally get the power bombs up there. A lot of it has to do with like visuals. So it's, again, those are items that are, I would say, way easier to get to a certain extent when you have space jump than, say, get them now. And, you know, you don't actually have everything that you need to, you're more likely to get lost. Something like this, for instance, where even having space jump won't matter. You have to, right? He's gonna have to, oh. Right? That's one way. And a nice power bomb to show us where all the crumble blocks are. Oh, this is gonna be interesting. What's he doing here? Oh, I see what he's doing here. Very nice. Oh. So if you have to freeze those rippers so you can kind of get across them so you don't fall down. Very, very clever way to standardize that and make that possible. Right. As we're going back towards the entrance to Sector 5, second portion of the game, say second portion because we're basically in the second portion now. Item now, gotcha. Makes sense. This is essentially just like a boss rush or a glorified boss rush. You've got a lot of very difficult bosses in rapid succession here. You've got Yakuza, you've got Nightmare, Natori. You've got a lot of different difficult bosses. This is the main. These bosses are the main reason why. Also got Ridley too in there, but these bosses are mainly the reason why that, like, even when he showed up and he's like, "Yeah, I'm routing this blindfolded," kind of laughed and went, "Okay, let's see how well that goes." It is some of the craziest stuff I've seen. The fact that he's figured these fights out and how to do it without being able to see them. It blows my mind still.
Time for a quick donation.
Oh yeah.
Okay, we have $10 from Cedric Major Matt. First time donating. This blindfolded run is absolutely insane. Keep it up. Thank you for your donation, man. And let's keep those.
Okay. So he's gotten through the spitter room. Have that missile to the left. Power bomb tank. Sorry. This is the missile tank. So he has to. Essentially, a lot of what he's doing as well is counting. He's counting like beats per second to some extent. It's all rhythm based. So like background noise, like background music, sound effects, damage intervals, stuff like that. He's gonna be doing that somewhat with Yakuza. He's gonna try to place himself perfectly in the middle to fire missiles directly upwards into his mouth as he spawns in. And he's not saving. Interesting. Maybe he just saved. Sorry, I was looking at his notes that he has written down. He wrote like a Bible on this. But it's essentially similar to the normal fight you would see. Like you kind of down and you jump and fire missiles straight up so that we can scroll the screen upwards. Make sure those missiles connect. And then something slightly differently that he's gonna do. That he's gonna try and check to see when he gets grabbed because he has all this extra health. That he's able to just double check that. When he's able to get grabbed essentially, and will allow him to break free and kind of skip around. So the way Yakuza works is in the first round he crawls around the room. He can crawl around up to 4 times before he
Didn't go through right.
Before he kind of opens up to fire more fireballs at you. By getting grabbed and wiggling free, you skipping rounds make him open up faster. See how it goes. Looks like he's got the positioning pretty well. It's good. Alright, now is the tricky part about getting grabbed. You didn't get grabbed?
Okay, this is bad.
Oh. He wanted to get grabbed there.
This is super bad.
Oh. Oh, no, not the fire!
Where the hell are you?
The other thing that getting grabbed allows him to do is it allows him to drop down directly below him so he can fire missiles straight up. There's like no guessing. Oh, he's gonna run into the corner and just kind of fire up and diagonally to try to hit him. And he's got over 100 missiles, so he can just keep rapid firing missiles. Only problem is that if he keeps getting hit by garbage like that, I mean the garbage isn't going to deal too much, thankfully. It could be he just gets hit too many times. It could be it can add up. At the moment, he's got he's got a good handle on it. Very good. In the clear. Ooh. Alright, one more missile and he's got space jump. Alright, now he's got space jump. Now, oh boy, does it not get any easier. Gonna have to do the SAX skip. But where it's a forced chase scene with the SAX. Now that he has space jump, big open rooms like this become slightly more difficult to navigate because there's not a whole lot of like visual cues that you have. You just kind of have to remember the room layout shape.
I will not save with this whole section with Sykes. So if I die, I have to redo the whole boss fight and all.
Oh boy. portion can be a little deadly. A little, I mean very. If you've played this game casually, I'm sure that this is a point where probably had to reset a lot. So the other thing is that you notice there's flying enemies. These are key hunters, and they are the final form of the Zoros that we saw earlier. They deal, I believe, 89 damage out with just their body. Stinger out, they deal 129. He's freezing the SAX. Freeze it again. That's gonna fire though when it's unfrozen. It's gonna get hit at least once.
Uh-oh.
Frozen.
This is bad.
He's just gonna take the safety way of doing it and not try to fire the missile. Alright. To be safe.
I might be very low on HP.
If he gets hit by a key hunter, it's going to do 129, especially if the stinger is out. But an entire E-tank and a third is a ridiculous amount of damage to take. The other thing that, the other problem is, he can't see the screen, so he doesn't know just what his HP values are at. Alright, so he's found the save room. He can finally breathe relief. And he's gonna go back for a power bomb that he not get on the way in. Just kidding. He's not gonna do that. I'm hoping he gets that during cleanup. Maybe. I'm just gonna hope that he gets that during cleanup. He's just gonna, yep. He's just gonna run into Natori and just fire. He's got all this extra health. He can take the damage. He's angling down to hit him. And, oh. He's through. He is through.
Oh.
Dude's he's a madman. The other thing is, I can't communicate with Bubzia at all. I have no way of knowing if he skipped that power bomb tank or if he's getting that during cleanup. Hoping that it's didn't forget it. I'm just going to assume that he knows exactly what he's doing. I'm not going to question it. He's got through two of the very difficult fights so far. One, standardizing the movement of when it opens his mouth and then cowering in the corner, firing missiles upwards. The second, by just running face first into its legs while just taking and tanking all of that damage. This next one... this next one's interesting. Nightmare. So, Nightmare is probably the worst. probably is the worst fight game. For, well, most categories, like any percent and everything else. It's... The way Nightmare moves, Phase 1 and Phase 2, you can kind of get an idea of, like, you can kind of set yourself up for that, because it's always going to be in the same spot. Like, it'll come up into the room and it'll always be in the same spot, so you can shoot a charge shot fire missile directly into his little unit, I guess. After that, though, he's going to start to move left and right as well once that turns on. So he's going to have to try to follow him as well and hit him. Phase 3, he starts at a standard position, and then he starts...
I wonder if I should save or not, but probably not.
He saves slowly to Samus. And after he gets all the way to the ladder, he's going to start flying around the room. The direction that he flies around is completely random. It's impossible to predict. The way he first targets an invisible hitbox that's in the room, that most rooms with X follow, the X will follow these invisible hitboxes to kind of give the illusion that they're moving in coordination. Guy's a bad man. Oh, trying to get this. He's trying to get a shine spark. He got it. An animal. He's a savage. He just got a shine spark. Very few frames of error without even looking at the screen. Okay, now this is going to get interesting.
I'm in. Nice.
Oh my goodness. Got it. That is unbelievable. Wow, okay. It's not easy to do at all. It's just a random block on the wall to get. If not, he has to come back here with the gravity suit to get it. So to get it now. But as I was saying, like with Nightmare, targets an invisible hitbox before it targets Samus, so it's very easy to lose its position. You have no idea where it's going to go, but after it's like in the direction of the hitbox, it then retargets to Samus. This entire fight is bananas. It's completely bonkers. He's got some items he's got to pick up here too right before the fight. There's I believe this is a power bomb tank. And it might be missiles. No, it's power bombs. And there's another tank just before the start of the fight in this big room.
Time for a quick donation.
What?
Yeah. First.
Okay. Well, we have... 1 second. We have a $20 donation from Duder, perhaps a big...
There was some audio missing.
Saying, I'm Duder.
Door opening, for
If you
example.
read this out loud, it's Duder. Oh, wait. Okay, that's too late for that. But they put their money towards saving the grub, $10 for that, and playing Metal Gear Solid 3 in English. Both of these are leading the charge with $20 to nothing over their replacement, over their other choices. So, thank you for your donation and keep them coming.
Thank you. So, you might have heard Bubzia just say there was some audio missing, and might remember how...
Here we go.
Are you kidding me? Oh my goodness. Bubzia, what a savage. Yeah, that's a really hard trick to do, by the way, to unmorph and grab that ledge. Standardized position. Wow, okay. Said something about audio missing, and that's potentially an issue with
Perfect.
like getting some It's a really good start to the fight. Oh my goodness. That's another thing that makes this boss kind of hard, is that there's so many noises going on that there is a chance that some audio just doesn't come through. This third phase is honestly not bad with all these missiles, because he's able to just spam.
Beautiful fight, man.
So much different. Ow! Unbelievable. Alright. Well. Be sure that Scotty and JRP are no longer the Lords of Fusion. It's gotta be this dude. Because my goodness. He just took down the hardest boss in the game. One of the hardest, if not the hardest boss in the game. Without even looking at it.
That's
unbelievable.
That's amazing. It's absolutely incredible.
He did it with a good fight, too. The heck? Everything went perfectly. Alright, now you can move freely through water, so, have a very big water section. Point for speed booster, and he's gonna be listening to.
Oh shit! That's way too far. Oh god, I missed so many frames.
Ooh. Yeah, he was listening for the blocks to be destroyed, so now he's gonna have to try to figure out where the Ooh. You have to use that shine spark directly upwards in between those two blocks. Hit a power bomb tank. Because he kind of ran past the second block, he wasn't trying to, which is why he was pause buffering. He wants to hear the speed blocks be destroyed. Just one set, and now the other one. So now he's going to store the spark and use it. Much better. Little tricks like that, which help him get through this in a more interesting way. Good. Speed, space boost, do that as well. And you don't have to worry about Nightmare anymore. There's going to be a little bit of item collection here in Sector 4, including some rooms that are... They're pretty not great. They've got all, this one in particular has all of these, like little hermit crabs walking around that are very annoying, especially since they fire these little, whatevers all over the place. Diagonal fashion. Same, got such a good memory for all of these rooms. The lower sector 4, I mean, the movement is pretty specific, for the most part. It's, he's making it look easy. Having me think I can go and do this blindfolded. No way. No way. Okay. So another way you can get through those bomb blocks is getting a speed booster and jumping with the speed booster. Jumping with the speed booster, it actually breaks bomb blocks for whatever reason. But speed booster he got there was so that way he can get through the little mini Dragon and not take a hit. Even though he's got 1,599 energy, there's really no threat of him dying at this point, if we're being completely honest. Oh, I mean, well, I say no threat, but this is Metroid Fusion we're talking about after all. There is plenty of things that could potentially go wrong. Standardized where he laid that power bomb in a very specific spot, and he rolled into that corner so that way he could avoid picking up the yellow X. If he picked up all of those little, if he picked up all the drops from the original enemies, those yellow enemies wouldn't spawn. They also wouldn't be able to get out of that room because it requires you to have defeated those yellow enemies to view access to this room in particular. It's locked behind a locked hatch. As you can see, on the right, when he leaves, it goes back to its locked hatch state. So, it's one of those small requirements needed to get through a room.
Nice.
Do we have a moment here for a quick announcement?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I just wanted to let you know that this is going to be the end of my donation reading shift. I'm now going to pass it over to my good friend Nordic Soy, who's going to be handling the rest of this run and a couple more. So, thank you all so much for donating and subscribing and cheering. Keep the support coming for Save the Children and DSA. And with that, Nordic Soy, take it away.
Right on. Thanks so much, Paul. I'm excited to be here for the remainder of this run and see what's coming up afterwards. But I'll send it right on back to you, Hercules.
Thank you. I mean, we don't have a whole lot going on right now through lower sector 4. The Red Axe. He's just going to be making his way through these rooms just to get out of this almost confining underwater experience he's in right now.
No, I understand.
Freeze that little guy. So, the little guy that he froze there can blow up into a... He's kind of like a pufferfish. And that he'll just blow up into a giant spiked balloon if you get too close. So he needs to freeze him prior to that happening so he can get through it, since there's no real way to defeat those enemies otherwise. Now he's got to get the... he shine sparks right into the ceiling. This position is actually pretty precise. He has a 2-block wide window to shine spark upwards into, and that got it. Alright, so he's got that item, and there's another item to the left that saw before he went for this shine spark. Very good. I believe got one item left in Sector 4 that he needs to grab. It's in his ladders. So now that he's out of lower sector 4 and back to upper sector 4, he's got diffusion missiles. So what this is going to do is he's able to charge up his missiles like he can with the charge beam, and the missiles will have a particle effect. And they will kind of freeze enemies similar to that. To allow him to freeze enemies that are slightly out of the way, just for more puzzle solving. So we've got this item and one more item in Sector 4. Should be good. So it'll probably be... well, I mean, this is mostly the end of this sector. in terms of, you know, coming in here to do anything. This last power bomb tank, and he should be done with cleaning up Sector 4. Oh.
Oh god, I need to think of a backup. Wait a second.
Oh. No, he just had it too.
Okay.
Alright, there we go. I swear he can't hear me. Right. We're on to the next difficult boss. That is, if you remember the security robot from earlier, that he had a very unique and interesting setup for, he's gonna have another setup for this one. Before that, he's gonna have to get there, so it's gonna require him to go through Sector 6 a little bit more. All those enemies.
Swag jump number 2. Easy.
Alright. He's already got most of the items that he needs to get that are in the way for Sector 6. But he's just gonna go right to the boss. Should be fairly quick. The security robot is going to be back, but he's infected by the X parasites. So we refer to this boss as Xbox. Slightly different, still damaged from the first time, but he's got a very interesting upgrade to him. Is that he won't be firing those fireballs anymore. He'll be firing missiles instead. Be very annoying and knock you off of the ladder on the ceiling quite a bit. Bubzia's got set up that little get out in Tier 4 vehicles. Alright, so he's got a few missiles in now.
Oh god, that was so bad.
Uh-oh. The idea is that he should be able to damage him. It's kind of like this. It'll kind of normalize it a little bit. Because the Xbox kind of runs to the left, it allows him to have this set up so that way he can keep firing missiles. He can get about, 3, 4 in there, it looks like. He's about like 1 or 2 missiles off. one missile off. You know, the wave beam core. Standard eye core, or a beam core, where, you know, it takes the eye opening to do it. I mean, he's avoiding the shots because, again, he has no idea what his health is at, but they do, I think it does like 100.
Less RNG, guys.
80. Yeah, if everyone could bless RNG in chat, because this next part is probably the worst part of the run. So, escape coming up in minutes. It's the worst part specifically because all of the Metroid locations are random. Because there's so much like going on with like the horn and everything else in the background, the music, and all the other sound effects of the explosions, Metroids don't have any sound effects. Everything gets eaten, so he's basically not only blind, but he's at a certain point he's deaf to, you know, what's going on around him. So it's a really, like, it's going to be completely random. Best RNG that he can get is if he jumps along the left wall, and if the best RNG is just no Metroids on that left wall, because they can just troll him for a while. Only got 60 seconds as well, so...
No. There are lots.
Oh no, that's not good. Yeah. It's... he's got this. So they bump you out of spin jump, fortunately. You gotta get up this left wall in 30 seconds. And even if he dies it's not a big deal, he just saved. The big issue is that, like, you can't even get a good sound cue from the mock droids. Oh, I thought he was up there. Oh no.
No, bad pattern.
I'm surprised the SX is still down there. I thought it was gone at this point, but... Oh my god, the right side was completely wide open. Oh no. This is alright. This is why I said this is the worst part, because...
This is completely RNG, so...
Yeah. That's why this is, like, the worst. Everything else he can determine by sound or by, you know, having a setup for it, but for this, there's no way to set this up. The placements are random, and even when you get hit by a Metroid and unspun, like, you don't even get, like, damage boosted, you just get knocked out of your spin jump, which is why when he's going along the left wall, he's hoping that there's no Metroids there. And like, did a check last time, he shot upwards, but wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. It was.
There's still something.
It's a little bit better. It's not completely like in the wall. There's some leeway here. There's only maybe one? No, there's two. Yeah, that's good. That's good. There we go. That's what we want to see.
Yes, dude. Second try is good.
That's perfect. And that's what we're looking for. Now that we're through that, he's told me the worst part of the run, which I can understand from a certain standpoint, though I can imagine, like, anybody else that doesn't do this blindfolded, I feel like they would argue that, I don't know, maybe the boss fights are pretty hard. Not dying is pretty hard. There's mock droids. Little baby Metroids. Now we're back in Sector 1, and it looks a little different. It's a little bit more Victorian. Even though you're not going to see any Cheerios.
Nope.
Interesting thing about frozen enemies, can just jump through them. Frozen enemies are actually used a lot, especially in the English version, because the English version came out before the Japanese version, which he's playing now. And, you can use frozen enemies to knock yourself out of bounds quite a bit. The other interesting thing, though, a bit of a segue. There's golden pirates that he just killed. Probably, I might be wondering how he's able to shoot it from the front. If you've ever played this game, right, remember that you have to hit him from behind. Game only checks to see if you're facing the same direction as the golden pirates. So if you fire a charge shot at them, directly at them from the front, and turn around quickly, game will think that you've fired the shot from behind them. It'll pass right through them instead of tinking right off. So you're going to get to see that again here. And this is the last boss before we begin cleanup. So after Ridley coming up, it is going to be when cleanup begins. Here we go. One. It's just off screen. Did that get him? Alright, that got him. Taking the safety save. So the one thing I didn't mention about Plasma Beam, because this is the most unordinary, this is the most, this run I'm super not used to, commentating something like this. So Plasma Beam does damage per frame. So, especially for Ridley, it hasn't been relevant the last couple of boss fights. Because, they take damage almost immediately and there's no need for the Plasma Beam to damage them. But with Plasma Wave for Ridley, since it deals damage per frame, he's going to be firing these shots diagonally upwards through Ridley, so that way the charge beam stays in Ridley as long as possible, and he fires an extra missile in there just to add a little bit of damage, and he should be dead in one more shot. Yeah, he's dead. Okay. Getting trapped in the wall there. But yeah.
Very weird fight.
I mean, the charge beam will be relevant one more time, potentially. Kind of. Only trade-off with the plasma beam that the wide beam you dealt 15 per particle, but a fully charged shot. With a fully charged shot, with plasma beam, you're dealing 9 per particle. However, each frame that those particles are in an enemy, they are dealing damage. It's kind of a bit of a trade-off. Would you rather do 45 flat, or I don't know, a couple hundred in the span of a second? By a couple hundred, I mean a couple thousand.
Hey, speaking of numbers, this is a good time for a donation.
Yes, it is.
Well, you mentioned a couple hundred. We do have a $100 donation from our very own Cheese Soda Punch. He is donating towards our upcoming Metal Combat run later tonight, saying, "Here's to saving the frames at Roll's expense. Looking forward to a great Metal Combat run." Now, if you're unfamiliar with that incentive, during Metal Combat Falcon's Revenge tonight, there is a moment where Rolla, who is Tornado's sister, gets captured and tied down over the final boss's weak point. And he has an option to either save or kill her. And this donation has put $100 towards killing her. So, yeah, that's an awesome donation. Thank you so much for your generosity.
thank you. So, we've just entered the cleanup portion of the game, and it's gonna be using Shine Sparks quite a bit to get through these like bigger rooms. You notice that like there are screw attack blocks that when you hit him with screw attack, kind of just disintegrated. So he's gonna have to mitigate, or he kind of has to know that like he had to get through there with screw attack and everything else. It should work maybe. As I said, like the Shine Spark, this is just going to be Shine Spark madness at this point. Because a lot of these tricks require a lot of visual to do, and to be able to do them without it is just, I'm just so confused how he's able to pull all this off. That's a good setup, actually. Pretty good. Yeah, it's mostly just normalizing movement, but especially with Shine Sparks, and you've only got like so much time to use them, it's still pretty impressive. Obviously, Sector 1, 3, and 5 cleanups are not terrible. Sector 6 is probably the worst sector to have to clean up in this game. This is the other problem with having Screw Attack, because now he can just destroy these platforms. Just jumping and shooting to kind of unspin. Kind of land on the platforms, but they're already gone. It's a little bit more difficult. This is the item that he was waiting to get with Space Jump. Otherwise, he'd have to do several wall jumps back and forth to get that item. He did jump straight up. All right through. You can hear I believe, what I recall, he should be able to hear the blocks being destroyed, so probably buffer. So he did there was when he went through the door transition, he started holding down on the controller. Doing that, he actually was just buffering an input, which I talked about earlier. Going through doors, you can buffer a shot through the door to fire on the first possible frame. The same can be done with inputs as well. Where if you want to press down, if you hold down through the transition, the first possible frame, Samus will go into her crouch position, and it will store that spark. We took advantage of that just now, a second ago, to that Shine Spark, so he can spark.
I'm not sure if I'm correct.
His way. So this should be the last item in Sector 1.
Oh, come on.
He's jumping here to kind of set his position, but he also kind of wants to be able to space jump up there as well, so he's trying to get a small jump and then a bigger spin jump to jump up through there like we just saw. That's Sector 1 down. Comes Sector 3. More Shine Spark madness. Use this spark. Very good. He's going to get another one, actually. Running across here. He'll buffer another input through the door, and then use it again. Fastest way to get through that portion there would be to what's called space boosting, where you can, with a speed booster and you're running along, you can start space jumping, and you don't lose any of your momentum. You don't have a startup animation either, anything else. And generally in the 100% category, you want to minimize the amount of shine sparks that you're using. Shine sparks generally tend to be slower because they have a startup and a bonk animation. But when you get space jump, you can space boost so that you can continue to shine spark and do all these kinds of these areas that you wouldn't normally be able to hit otherwise, without the whole startup bonk animation. A lot of people, you might think that, shine sparking everywhere is actually faster, but because of that startup and bonk animation, it actually turns out to be slightly slower in most instances, surprisingly enough. For something like this, standardizing movement and all this other stuff, it's pretty helpful. Another shine spark coming up though after these two items. Gonna be another one of those epic long shine sparks like the one that we saw earlier when going Sector 5. Here we go. Those blocks, and then he's going to get a shine, the speed boost. Give himself some leeway here with where he's getting this, so that way he can some time to make sure he's running up into the wall. Spark straight up. Almost done with lower sector 3. He's just got to go get some other, I believe it's one more item to the left here, the other side where emergency took place. And then a few more items in the upper sector 3 area. Another instance of space boosting for version that went by RTA timing. It was actually faster to go from the right to the left, do a space boost across that room that he just shine sparked past. Now we don't even do that. With the RTA method, we actually go from we start here and then go back to the right, so that way when we do that shine spark vertically upwards, we can just leave lower sector 3. Turns out to be faster because there's less door transitions involved. Again, he's doing some small hops to kind of see, the jumps will allow him to kind of know where he's at, if he's in a tunnel or not. And just based on the sound and how long it takes for Samus to kind of land. And he's just got to go back up. But he's climbing this ladder. He's doing a jump, immediately re-grabbing the ladder later. It's faster to climb the ladder by doing this. It is to just climb it up normally.
I've got a donation here that I think speaks to what we're all thinking. Our donor here is someone named This Is Ridiculous, who donates $10. And I think we can all agree, this is absolutely ridiculous watching this blindfolded run. So, thank you for that $10 donation. He's putting that towards tomorrow night's Pikachu versus Eevee fight in Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. He's choosing Pikachu.
Awesome. I've seen this, because I've verified his runs for the leaderboards, and I've seen this before, and I watch when he does it occasionally. I still can't believe every time I see this. It's just so ridiculous to watch him do this. It's done with Sector 3 now. Sector 5 is a little easier than Sector 3 and 1 potentially. Well, he's left a couple items. Left a few additional items that he has to go out of his way to get, which isn't a problem. They're actually made easier with the space jump if you were to get them normally. I believe you'll probably go and get those first, and something a lot of people don't ever get to see is that it's filled with water all the way. Remember, we came in here before, and it was it looked like this. It looked like a cryo space. Now it is all melted, especially in here where the nightmare destroyed everything. Watching this, and I'm honestly forgetting that he's blindfolded sometimes, with just how easily he's moving through these rooms.
Ayo.
He's gonna shoot it there just to expose it, and then he's gonna try to jump in a 1x1, pick it up. That's one of the items that he left for this. The other one is going to be down and to the left. So he can't go straight to the left anymore because that door has been destroyed. He has to actually come this way to access the level 3 for security area. The reason he waited to clean this area up is because...
What? Wait. What?
He missed the jump.
Where am I? Why was there a door? Okay, I fell down.
So the reason he's actually waiting to get this item is because the fact that to get this item normally you have to freeze rippers in place and to climb up frozen rippers. However, doing that without seeing not only requires some like echolocation and some beam firing to be able to do that, but it's just simpler to be able to jump along the wall rather than you have screw attack and space jump, because you just move unimpeded, just a few extra jumps. Be it he did get lost there for a second, which is completely plausible. Almost done with Sector 5 as well. More Shine Sparks to do and be done.
Memory fails.
Say it's... memory is failing at this point in the run. I mean, he's gotten through pretty much all of it. Impressive that he's remembered almost everything up until this point. Only assume that what he's going to do here is store it and shoot the door as he stores it. Oh, he already shot the door. What? I missed that. Alright, well, got one item left, and then the fun begins. Sector 6 is the worst sector in this game for cleanup. Has some of the hardest speed booster tricks in the game. It's terrible. And I've had to come up with visual cues to be able to create the tutorial. He has to do this without visual cues. Like when he was learning this, I know that we had like some conversations about this, and just item collecting and whatnot. But it's so mind-boggling. So, all right, on the door.
Okay, here we go.
Alright. Got the first spark. Very good. He's in the room. That's all that matters. Now I believe he's gonna count seconds.
Nope.
Determine where he needs to spark upwards. Oh my goodness. Especially in a room like this, like, counting is the only way to be able to get it. Because, like, it's all based on visual cues. God, he's so close. The other strat that he could have potentially gone for was getting a charge off the top of that. And then he would have to fall to a certain specific height and sparkle to the left or right. He's too high if he sparks to the right, he's leaving the room. He has to get that spark again. It's close. If he sparks to the left and he's too high, he's just gonna miss the item again, like he did when he came in. It's a very specific item.
Yes,
Like counting along the ground while getting this here is his best shot, and he's able to get it right there. Next one, though, he has to get a spark where that power bomb tank is. He has to do a couple of space jumps to be able to get to a height where he can fall through them. He's gonna do that right now. And he got it first try. Very good. That one's actually not as hard as it seems. Once you choose spark, if you do, it's a kind of medium jump and then a long A press. Should be able to get that every time. Those are the two harder items to get. I believe he gets this next item. Or not this next item. The next item. This one's back to the area where he had the most difficulty because there was no sound and no vision. Everything was random. So to get this one, normally you want to do like a space jump or a speed jump into the blocks to destroy the blocks. And he's going to save here just in case he accidentally sparks up to Sector 1, because if he sparks directly upwards, he's going to be back in Sector 1. He's going to have to backtrack all the way back to it. So he's going to still do the speed jump, it looks like, potentially. His other possibility is to do a diagonal spark, then space jump up to the item. You got the
that was super late.
Ooh, you can still get this though.
Okay.
Got it. Nice. It looks like, based on what I'm seeing, he was using the pause buffers to kind of give himself some time, whether or not he wanted to jump again. And a block, a crumble block is broken. It'll reform almost like immediately. However, you can jump through it as it reforms. It'll make it disappear again, so you can jump through a respawning crumble block to get back up. And because the speed booster blocks spawn back instantly, they're able to just use those as his platform to be able to get up to the next item. So this item in the next room usually requires a frame perfect hop get, and you have a singular frame to get this jump. Can get it.
RNG.
It seems by doing something like this. Playing a bomb, he's gonna try to freeze the enemy. the other side. Gonna count it off.
Might be too early. Nope.
Oh my goodness. He got it first try. Unbelievable. That ouch can be going one of two directions. He got lucky that it went that way, specifically, because it allows him... That's the intended way to get that item. And, he's making a very difficult sector look very easy to clean up. Without being able to see. This one's going to be interesting. He has to create certain pillars to come up, form a bridge. If he shoots the wrong pillars, or if he hits the wrong triggers, will extend vertical as vertical pillars. But he's got it down perfectly, and he's able to get the E-tank. Good. He's just going to try and spark his way back out, because the fastest way to get out of here. He's got one more item that he's got to get. Off to this room to the right. And he has fully cleaned up the worst sector in the game. The second worst sector is going to be Sector 2, which is coming up right now, but we're going to get a brief look into Sector 4. We fall through it. I'm hoping that he grabs the powerbomb tank that he can get before Natori, before he leaves. If not, then it's going to be an item short. Alright. Sector 4, everything's already done anyway. Just going to fall down in the transition, and thankfully the transitions between the two sectors are right in the same room.
Okay guys, here we go. The hardest part of the run.
Yeah, this is no joking. This is probably harder than Metroid's.
If I get this first try, I'll donate $5 or something, dude.
So this entire room, all the blocks are crumble blocks.
I'm sorry.
And there you go. The entire room.
Oh yeah, I placed a powerbomb so you can see what's going on here.
He has to navigate, all blindfolded, all of these blocks. Not only one item, but two items in this room. So he has a one-frame opportunity should he get lucky and hit it.
That's one.
Alright, there's one. Got through. Alright. Now you can just kind of use this as a... as I said, like how I mentioned how you can jump through respawning crumble blocks. He's using it here to come through and make some progress without having to really have to forcibly, visibly see the space jump that he has to do. Ooh. Fortunate. Very close. Like grabbing a block that is destroyed. I mean, whether he knows it or not, he just got a frame perfect jump off of a crumble block. is why this is the worst portion of the game. And harder than the Metroids. Oh, so close.
Oh, come on, dude.
He's got this.
Oh man.
The reason this is worse than the Metroids, because the Metroids, they were RNG, but you can still get, like, still a consistent way to move through the room. The unfortunate part with this is that, like, it has to move through the room, and, like, anything that happens here is, like, self-inflicted almost, to a certain extent. Ooh. The movement is very particular to get through. Pushing one crumble block is basically having to start over again.
This might take a while, guys. I'm sorry, this is super difficult. Oh, come on. I'm making a mistake over and over again, but I can't fix it somehow.
Alright, well, he's got through that.
Damn.
You good?
I don't have the rhythm, dude.
You just gotta find the rhythm and the rhyme. It's fine. Is now the time to bring forth said rhythm and rhyme.
God. And now imagine you are like on PB pace with a perfect run and then this section comes up. It's a fun game to run.
Definitely very unforgiving. Sure.
God.
Oh. So close. Pretty sure the blocks that were right next to the ones that you just fell down were safe blocks as well.
That was a bit too high.
So, how's everybody doing? Hey, alright.
There we go.
Yeah, alright. They weren't, that's right. Alright, now that that's out of the way, you finishing the game. Get a few more items left in this area to clean up. Mostly the ones near Zazabi. beyond that, everything, there shouldn't be too many difficult things that are left in the run. And the SAX fight isn't too terribly difficult. Some items over here. Most of these tricks, I mean, it's him going back and collecting them. There's no real tricks left to run, I don't believe, what I remember. And there shouldn't be too many tricks left, if any at all. Well, that's a lie. There's one more. There's one more section where you're required to do some tricks. They're speed booster tricks, and this room is just awful. Having to jump off of those guys, and if not, you have to imperfect jump up. That's a problem. I'm gonna reset the room until you can get the rippers where they spawn in. You can roll on them. That's better, but not perfect. This is another one where it requires RNG. When he comes in and fires the missile, that's why he's charging it outside the room. So
Come on, give me a good pattern.
We're going to separate directions. He wants to see them going opposite directions toward each other, so that way they can kind of overlap and kind of make a little bridge underneath that. Player. That's what he's looking for.
Oh god, I think I jumped too early. No, actually the second one wasn't in position, I think.
Position. Fortunate.
Very bad luck, dude. I guess it's okay.
Gotten good luck the entire rest of the run, so he was kind of due to get some amount of bad luck. We'll chalk up Crumble City to bad luck. Oh no! Actually, it was really good luck too, because he got the Ripper underneath frozen. He could have actually jumped there and go at it, but ooh.
There we go.
Hey, all right, that's one way. Alright, so 2 more items, and I'm kind of nervous here because I'm hoping he didn't forget about the R bombs for Natori. He's gonna grab them. It would have to be the next item after these missiles.
Oh, well, we've got a moment. I just want to put a big shout out to Rusix here in the chat. He's just put out 15 gift subs to various members here in the ESA chat. So thank you so much for that generosity. And then we also have a donation that just came in from General Harbinger. He donates $20 and says, "First try." So thank you so much for that generosity.
Okay. I was thinking what room this is, but I remember.
Every try is first try, if you can't see it.
This is not right. Oh god, what is this room? Oh god, there's enemies. I guess we go back. door to the left.
What's going on?
Oh god, there are miners. Oh no, I'm getting kicked between doors. This is not good. I need to figure out where the hell I am. I will, for now, just run left.
Fine.
Okay, there are a lot of enemies left.
Surprised he's running left.
Oh god.
The directions mixed up.
I haven't saved in like 3 years, so we kind of need to figure this out now. Enemies left.
It's very, like, it's not surprising that he's determining where he's at, because you usually never come this way again after you
I think I know where.
first XAX skip.
To my right is the save point. Okay. Monk ass, dude.
We got it. Bubzia figuring it out. This next item is these next two items technically are just speed booster tricks. You got to go across the top of the boss room. Which I don't know why anybody would ever think to come back to a boss room or to look for some items, but here it looks like he's gonna get the missile tank first down below, and he got it. Very good. The next one is he's got to chain some shine sparks across crumble blocks. Alright, Bubzia, you do you, hitting that on the last possible frame, unbuffered. Absolute savage. Okay. 2 more jumps and he should
Nice.
have it. There you go. And he's got it. Very good. First try. 1 item left. It's probably the one item that you can miss very easily because you just don't think about it. You're like, oh, I'm done. I've cleaned everything up. You can go beat the game. Not quite. Before you go to face the SAX, there is a power bomb tank. It can be gotten very early using a shine spark in the main deck. However, you can just go get it now before going to beat the game with screw attack. But, very easy to miss it because it's the most forgotten about item in your game.
Oh no. Oh, it was up there.
Right. This is what the core of the space station looks like without all of those vines growing all over it. To the climb, significantly easier this time. This time he got through it real easily. Alright. Just that resident sleeper. Oh. Hey. You go and get that item? Should be able to. That last item still.
Okay, last boss incoming, guys.
I don't think it locks the door. At least it shouldn't lock
Also,
the
I
door.
really hope that I have actually all items that I didn't forget. 1, That would be kind of not cool.
Yeah, this foreshadowing, my dude. Come on. Both know you forgot the same item you forgot the other day. Bubzia, please. So, should be able to get the power bomb tank? Maybe. Usually this navigation room isn't used to start this cutscene. The one next to the elevator there is usually the one used to start the cutscene, but, oh boy. It railroads you. Okay. Hey, you're allowed to get it. Very good. Thought you would be able to. I haven't seen this on this fashion, like, after the cutscene. Like, forever, so it's easy to forget. He now has all of the items. At least he should have all of the items. I think he's missed any. He hasn't missed any. Be unfortunate. You gotta take a recharge. Alright. Alright, so the SAX fight
Here we go.
coming up is, usually you would see runners freeze the SAX and then shoot diagonal shots down with another ice missile to keep it in place. He's gonna, imagine, be running back and forth on the ground, firing shots constantly. Or he's gonna do this. He's gonna do the horizontal strats. I don't think he's hitting anything. Now he's been hitting. I think that's it. Should be in phase 2 now. There's phase 2. Normally with phase 2, if you fire a shot straight up, again, plasma beam, plasma wave, the longer it stays inside the enemy, the more damage it deals. So usually you would see runners, they'll just fire the beam straight up when it jumps. Beam stays in it the entire way up, and it just drains its health to 0 almost instantly. In this case, he's kind of trying to keep his distance. He was keeping his distance. And, get out rather easily. You know, the score X, that beat, pretty much done.
Banger alert.
The banger alert. Alright. 3 minutes to get out of here. Only he could find the elevator. It's gonna take 3 minutes to find the elevator. Luckily, that's the last elevator in the game. No more having to kind of feel around for an elevator. Now that the game has entered the escape sequence, as you can see, all the doors are locking behind him just to send him in the direction of the ship. I think, alright.
Final time.
Tome 3. Fortunately, there's still one more boss left. Mega Metroid. Game wouldn't be Metroid if there wasn't a Metroid. if he can, when he goes for the quick kill here. You're able to stand in one position and stun lock the Omega Metroid here, like he did with the SAX. See if he gets taken here. I think he might be missing a missile. I think that's 255 or 250. Oh.
Easy, dude. Good game. Time is coming up in very shortly when Samus gets into the ship and when the charge beam stops making sounds. Time.
EG.
Oh, I shifted kind of. I hope I was on the screen. Yo, what's up, guys?
Congratulations.
Whew.
Very good run.
Bubzia, that was phenomenal.
I'm gonna join you guys on Discord. Wait a second, I can't.
Preemptive.
Hello, hello.
Hey, Bubzia.
Yo.
That
What's
was
up?
absolutely
Good game.
surprising to watch, I do have to say. Just,
The only question is if I have 100%.
well, we're gonna find out here shortly.
Yeah.
Trying to think. There's something you might have missed.
Oh no. Well, we'll see after the credits.
Yeah.
And yeah, the run was okay, I guess. It's a pretty good time.
Well, while that's coming up, I've got a couple things to bring up for you. One is, during your run, we got $90 worth of donations that went to Runner's Choice. So, where would you like that money to go?
I don't really know the exact list of all incentives, but I can check after the run too, right? Is there something for Kingdom Hearts 0.2?
Let me check here.
100% actually.
No, it doesn't look like there's anything for Kingdom Hearts.
Okay. Then I will check the list and tell it later, if it's okay.
Yeah, no, it's just fine.
But thank you very much for the donations.
And then the other thing is, since we were a little bit ahead of schedule, just kind of thought, why not tell us your thoughts on the run, how things went? You've got some time to give us a chat. What went
Yes, of course. I would be glad to.
Yeah.
So yeah, the run was pretty okay, I would say. I died once at the very beginning in the eye door, which is normal. I usually reset there a lot of times in normal runs. And escape was second try, which is good. Like, I was stuck there for more than 10 minutes at some points already, so second try is perfectly fine. And yeah, Crumble City at the end, where you space jump through the crumble blocks, that's just absolutely horrible always, so I kind of thought it will go like this, but we managed after all, after some time, so I'm pretty happy about that. And otherwise, the run was pretty great. The boss fights were really good. Some memory mistakes where I forgot rooms, but I guess that happens. But yeah, overall I'm very happy, for sure. And if I can say some shoutouts, big shoutouts to the Blindfolded speedrunning community, where I joined 3 years ago. And they are great people, and whenever you have any interest in any kind of blindfolded run, we have lots of different games done already and lots of different runners, so you can check it out. We are all very open and share strats and everything. And big shout out to the whole Metroid Fusion speedrun community, of course. Really great people. And biggest shout out to Herc commentating this run. It wouldn't be possible without you, so
I don't know if that's true. The one doing all the work.
oh, will it be hundreds? Yes.
Very nice.
We did it. 2:02 is okay time, I guess.
Honestly, it's an amazing time.
Yeah. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this whole run. If you're interested in more Blindfolded stuff, I have tons of different runs on my YouTube channel. Maybe there are some games you know. And upcoming, there will be Kingdom Hearts 0.2 by my good friend Swift Shadow. Give this man some love, he does a great job in Kingdom Hearts speedruns. And yeah, otherwise, shoutouts to all the IRL people. And especially right now, with the whole COVID situation, my girlfriend that I cannot see because we are apart by many borders and we cannot cross them, kind of. So, shoutouts for being strong. And yeah, that's it kind of from my side. I'm very happy we got 100% actually. And yeah, anything you have to say, Herc, that you saw interesting or that I missed or anything?
No, I think you did an amazing job. You did scare me, but I wanted to. Good job. Thank you for letting me commentate this.
Yeah, thank you for being here for sure. And thanks for all the chat, for all your contributions, and for watching for sure. That's the most amazing thing. So yeah, that's it from my side.
Well, Hercules, Bubzia, thank you so much for this incredible Blindfolded run today. We're going to kick it off to a brief intermission, and then when we come back, we're going to have some more awesome speedrunning. Our next game up is Frog and Spiders being run, so stick around. Brief intermission, we'll be right back.